Beautiful sunny spring day. Welcome to Cindy's Artistic World. We're in my mighty little garden as we're heading into spring and the blooms are bountiful. This potato tree, I cut it, gave it a push for height, and it finally is taking off. More blooms than I've ever had on it, so I'm really glad. I think I may actually get to see that umbrella tree that I want for shade there. Everything is growing well right now, but it did warm up a lot today. I'll go out and water tomorrow. I have lettuce everywhere. Lots of lettuce, and it's been a constant harvest. We're so lucky, so fortunate. The fruit trees are all beginning to bloom. That's another beautiful sight to behold as this nectarine tree starts budding out. Last year it gave us some fruit, and I'm hoping for even more this year. You can see that our calla daisies, Europs, marguerites, whatever you call them, are doing quite well. They just always are blooming, so I'm lucky there. The arugula is starting to go to seed, so that's in the forefront there. Those little white flowers are probably not going to last much longer, and then I can harvest seeds before long. There's another patch of lettuce out there. You can see I pulled my hose out and didn't put it away. Tomatoes are doing good. They're still in the planters that I bought, and overall quite well. Lots and lots of blooms, lots and lots of tomatoes. Not much in the vines, but there's a good example of needing some water. Tomorrow, I did water it yesterday, so. The jasmine is doing quite well, and that makes the hummingbirds extremely happy. This was the bare spot last year. You can see some tulips coming up, but it's growing well with the gazanias. I have 4 spots where the calla lilies are coming up now. Yay! I have had them growing under the grapefruit tree in the front, and they've done well. Snowman's favorite, sunflower. Alisms, I'm going to wait. We're going to have a cold spell and rain before long. We always do after the peach tree blooms. And then I'm going to move alisms around the yard because I have so many sprouted out front. It does a good look at those arugula flowers. And the sunflowers. If you look to the left, you can see hundreds of them all there. But I said survival of the fittest, and I've been letting them grow, and I've moved them about. There's some in the front yard. Some to try and hide the trash that's in my neighbor's yard. Whatever. That's a whole nother story, that. But anyway, oh, see, there's even a little calla lily in that spot. I've been spreading the marigold seeds that sprouted, these little seedlings out. I'm going to get them around the garden more. Of course, we have the white iris in bloom. I've got lots of sweet basil sprouted. And the sugar snaps, first time growing them, they have been fantastic. Some more gazanias. The barrel that had all that lettuce sprout with the sweet peas, this is the last batch of it. One more salad out of there. Plenty in other spots in the yard. Yeah, these are the big, tall calla lilies under the citrus. Lots of blooms coming about, and overall very happy. You have a good one. Go play in the yard. Out in the front of the garden, it's doing quite well. You can see that the sunflowers that I transplanted are doing well in the front. They didn't grow last year when I tried it, but that was before I had reworked the soil out here, so I'm glad to see it. I have lots of gazanias sprouting, lots of alism sprouting, lots of another lily. But I also have these beautiful, beautiful iris blooms, which are just going throughout the yard. I love these white ones. They were a great addition to my garden. And I really like that I moved them out front here with the white in the back and the purple in the front. There's also in the back here, you can barely see them, some more sunflowers. So I walk around thinking about what I'm going to do.
how I'm still going to move this lily. Put my hydrangea here, probably in this pot. I haven't decided yet. Looking at the beauty of the garden. I harvested yesterday lettuce, sweet peas, sugar snaps. It was just absolutely wonderful. Just happy. This one needs repotted again. Actually, I put in peas, so we'll see if they sprout. Not a huge harvest, but I've got my greens. Of course, they need chilled. My lettuce. Yep, working on salad. Plus, I have radishes from the garden in the house. Yay!
It's freshly watered, so the dill is laying over, but I did get it to sprout under the peach tree, and it seems to be doing pretty good, as well as the peach tree throwing off some blooms. There's a good picture of the dill a few days ago. I have flowers blooming throughout the yard. I'm very happy with all of that. One of the things I noticed, though, I finally was able to figure out what that plant to the right is. Yep, common wormwood. Anyhow, tomatoes are growing along. I'm not unhappy with them in the planters at all. Doing some more planter with the squash and so forth is going quite well. Over in what I called my bare spot, I am getting the tulips pushing up as we march into spring. And of course, lots and lots of those sunflowers sprouted everywhere. The sugar snaps, we've just been having a great time with the sugar snaps, I have to tell you. They're great.
Sunny day after the rain, and I'm going out for my harvest. And I'm going to start on this side right here. And I see some beauties right here to pick for my salad tonight. I had this down the other day. It came off real easy. There we go. That one's not ready. Come on, baby. Dinner, dinner, dinner. Okay, they popped off real easy the other day. They're not snapping quite as easy today. Oh, that's where I would hit it. Okay. I'm going to go get some more.
As I picked this lettuce, most of it, there's still a little in the barrel, but I have so much lettuce growing throughout the garden that I wish I could eat it every day. I just don't. But it's there if I want it. And behind where the arugula was growing, where the cat mats are now, I seeded some radishes. So the beginning of March is turning out really well. Lots of blooms, lots of full garden, great out in the garden, enjoying my moments.
Got some healthy looking onions over here. You can see I piled up my cat strips over there. I barely have to use them anymore. Lots of lettuce. Still lots and lots of lettuce. I'm out in my mighty little garden in another one of my favorite spots to sit, have coffee, and enjoy the day. Watching a bumblebee fly around right now. I don't think I can catch him, but he's out there. He's coming right over to us. Uh-huh.
I've been really happy as we entered the end of March. I just really enjoy going out in my garden anyway, but just these blooms that are starting to pick up have just really made me happy. You can see the calla daisies. Those always bloom. Marguerites, Europes, whatever you call them. Everybody has a different name for the darn things. But I break a branch off, put it in the ground. I have so many now from two plants that I brought home. March also let the almond tree bloom. And as I look over my head where I'm sitting, I get to see that potato tree. And is it making shade on me? Not really, but the intention is that it will one day because I found this spot that I really like to sit. The nectarine tree is blooming and it has blooms, such beautiful blooms. They get so pink as it keeps going. Anyway, back to the potato tree. I've never had it bloom this much. The push I gave it where I clipped it all up to give it a grow in height has really paid off. I'm not unhappy at all with it. I may actually see that umbrella tree one day. Well, more lettuce. That's the stuff growing under the chair and the rocks. It just sprouts every year because I let it go to bloom, let it go to seed, and it just casts itself. You can see those are future crops right there. And the cute little garden side my neighbor bought me. The arugula continued to grow as the month went on. You can see how high the seeds bolted. They're starting to pod. There's some more lettuce and a garden hose that hopefully I don't trip over ever again. You can see I need to water. Even though I'd watered the day before, it just got up to 90 and it was just too warm. Tomato plants have been doing really well. Still recommend trellis planting. The jasmine bloomed wonderfully. Bees, birds. Tulips began to push up. I'm looking forward to some nice tulip blooms. I hope I get them. Sometimes the bulbs will come up and they don't bloom. You never know. I have gotten a lot of calla lilies growing in the garden this year. This is exciting to me. It's been very hard to get them to grow here. And of course, Snowman's favorite, sunflowers. With great abundance, we have sunflowers. I also have the alyssums everywhere. Big ones and lots of little ones sprouted. This is some rosemary, and of course it's starting to bloom. Look, if you look to the left on that picture, at least 100 of those sunflowers. Some of them I'm letting grow. I've got to cut some of them out. It's just going to have to be a reality. I can't let it all grow there. Some plants I planted. You can't see the lavender in the background there, but that's one of the things I was starting in there. I've sprouted marigolds. I have a bunch more sprouted in another planter, and I've been sprinkling them in the yard to see what happens. The grasshopper kind of got some. This is a side yard with more of the iris, and I have sweet basil sprouted. I'm hoping for good success with that because it's one of my favorites. Although sweet peas, the sugar snaps have become one too. Gazanias are so easy to maintain and grow like a weed, so you kind of got to be careful, but if you like the flowers blooming, that was perfect. The shamrock clover has done very well on the side yard too. Now, up under my grapefruit tree at the front porch, calla lilies. And lots of blooms on the citrus. Another picture of the front. All these blooms have been so wonderful. Haven't had too much in the way of allergies either, so that's a good thing.
Well, I have decided I got my knee pads. That's my cushions, my tools. I have decided that I am going to work on the frog castle. We'll see where this little section gets us to, but that's where I'm starting.
Okay, get ready for overload on pictures. I put in my pathway, and you know, those frogs, they moved back in, but I gotta tell you, they complained. You know why they complained? They complained that the pathway was too big. It's too wide. We don't use that much right there, and besides, it's not whimsical enough. What do you mean it's not whimsical enough? Well, the pathway's just too straight for a fairy garden. Even if this is a frog castle. See how straight that is? So I knew by the end of this day that was going to have to change. I didn't want to pull it all out and start over. So what I did was I just took one whole row out and maneuvered it around in a little twisty turn. This thing was made from a concrete fence post that I dug out of the backyard and flipped over, put some odds and ends that were around the garden or around the house, and created this frog castle. No regrets. It's kind of cute. Something different. Anyway, after I changed the pathway, these guys all seem to be happy. And that's what counts.
So I just gave my tomato a good haircut. I'm not unhappy with it. When they're in the ground, I don't do this. Don't know. I just decided to do it. I'm going to pick a couple of tomatoes, but not too many. If you look real close, you can see I have a lot growing on here. So, same thing over here. It's hard to see. It's so dark. This camera just doesn't work quite the way I'd love it for it to, but you know.
So
Lots of
after this
wins.
wonderful haircut to the tomatoes, I thought I was going to move them around someplace else. Didn't like them anywhere else. But you can see there's plenty of tomatoes on these little boogers. I'm pretty happy. I like them growing in the garden too, but this has been a new experience. And these are bromas. They're not getting real large yet. I hope that we get some larger ones as time go on, but they are very meaty. I also sprouted some eggplant. It hasn't done very well yet. So I decided to cut some plastic. I wanted to use up some water bottles. We had quite a few of them because our water filter broke in our refrigerator and we haven't fixed it yet, so we've been drinking water from the store, even though it's in the plastic. So I decided to cut the tops off and make little greenhouses for my sprouts, but also made a few planters to hang on the fence. Just something I was thinking about, so I did it. You know, what the heck? Another space. Anyhow, they're going pretty good. It's growing pretty well. I'm not unhappy at all with it. I did take the top to the bottles and I made a little clasp. I folded them, put them underneath these to help support them on the fence. Just a very simple fold it in half, put it through the fence, and it was attached enough to just give it a little extra brace. I've actually made some more since then, and I have seen some wonderful ideas online, so may not be my last, but the water thing hopefully is going to get fixed next week. Anyhow, lettuce continues to grow, tomatoes continue to grow, and of course, no man's favorite, the sunflowers continue to grow. It's just, for as small as my garden is, I'm very happy. You know, I really, maybe 700 square feet. I'd have to measure it. It's pretty darn small. I get a lot out of it. A lot of flowers, a lot of fruit. You know, I got 14 trees. Fig tree did something different this year. Anyhow, ta-da. Look at the garden grow. I am so glad I redid that pathway. It's so much easier, so much cleaner looking. Even though it's still rock, I still haven't decided exactly what I'm doing with the rest of the pathway going down, but Time, of course, will tell. And like I said, although you can't tell it, I was rearranging the plants there. Oh, grapefruit tree that I lost last year is starting to grow. I'm hoping to save it. So I decided that the spider plant has to be moved off of it and changed up. Look at all of, I call them the little shop of horrors. I forget what they are. Lots of sprouts coming up. Lots of plants coming up. Lots of flowers coming up. Another thing I decided, and one of the reasons it's still here, is when I cut the lemon tree and made it smaller, a character came on this piece. So although he is sliced, I still see a character. And I'm thinking about carving him out. So passing the Ides of March, mid-March, we have a lot of blooming flowers. Yeah, it's a good thing. However, I transplanted a lot of those freesias around that tree last year, and they didn't come up in them wherever I planted them. Hopefully they will. I found one so far. I can't honestly remember where all I planted them. The chia I'm going to let cast next year. I'm going to put some in there and let it go crazy in the garden and just pop up. It's a pretty flower. The sweet peas are still doing good as we exit March. I'm still harvesting handfuls of them. And the sunflowers in the front continue to grow on. As we got to the end of the March, the heat and the sun fermented my birds' drinks. So I'll be changing those more often. Get them in more shade. You can see I switched out the spider plant for the schoolhouse. The disc will disappear after the tree is established again. The schoolhouse will just sit on the stump, and those frogs, oh look, my boys were supervising me that day. I love my boys. Anyway, the tops from those jars really helped to promote some growth on the eggplant. I've used it on a couple of other things too, and the squash is doing quite well in the pot. I need to move one of them before it gets much bigger. We are enjoying the tomatoes immensely. They are flavorful, very meaty. We are looking forward to lots of sticky old sunflowers for that bird. The sunflowers are just so pretty, and they'll make good shade. We've got quite a few growing, and they attract a lot of other birds. Other birds can be a good thing in the garden. I love looking at birds. I really do. Like, here's a bird in the sky right there. That guy was doing stunts along with this guy, and they were sharing the same airspace pretty much. We get a lot of aerial stunts from pilots over the riverbed. Anyway, peach tree continues to bloom. I went ahead and moved the red apple plant out. I was really thinking we were going to have another freeze, some cold weather, as we usually do in March after the peach tree blooms, but it didn't happen. Everything's growing along good. As it gets later and later into March, I love the fact we're going to have lots of sunflowers. I'm going to try and save them for the bird this year. So we're going to head back up the pathway here, looking at my palm tree and his wonderful features. The calla lily in the pot is doing well. The hydrangea is next to it. I think it'll be shady enough for it there. The grapefruit calla lilies are really getting ready to bloom. I love these things. It is so pretty how the light will play in them, and they get It hits it just right inside of it, and it lights up like a light bulb. I love bouquets of lilacs and calla lilies, and I used to get great big huge ones in our garden in Yucaipa. And I'm hoping that I'll get at least a couple of bouquets out of them this year. If it gets too hot, they're not going to keep blooming as long as they normally would. I'm happy with the side yard. It's done really well. The shamrock clover and all that. With the little bit of rain we did get in March, we did get some green up on our hills. Not very much, but some. We did see some snow-capped mountains too. That is the conservation garden that replaced lawn in our park right across the street from us, so I get to look at all their beautiful flowers out my windows. Oh, one more look at a calla lily and the sunflowers in the front. And we are going on to the end of March. And there has been no shortage of blooms in my garden. March is usually one of the most flowery times. It's when the trees start to go as well. Look at how the light plays on this stuff. I'm really looking forward to that grapefruit tree growing again. I could do with or without it because I don't eat much grapefruit, but you can see now how I changed the pathway at Frog Castle to make it a little more whimsical. It's got curve, baby. Just a little more whimsical. So going across the back, everything's nicely in bloom. Look at the alyssums, they're such a good fill. One of the things I had to consider is painting the back of the shed. I get to paint a mural on it. It is my neighbor's shed, but in my mind, I am laying it out, and I do have permission. See those cute little paw prints? Those are actual paw prints that were on it. And I'm going to save them in it and make them bunny feet or raccoon feet or something. I did not plant anything under this pear tree yet because lots of stuff is sprouting there. And you can see the nectarine pink flowers. We're getting more of those. Sunflowers, sunflowers, sunflowers. The forget-me-nots, you can see those a little bit there. Getting larger and hopefully healthy. I don't have a picture of them, but the lilacs are all budding. And we've been getting a few strawberries. You can't really see those. That's one of my favorite places to sit also, under the potato tree. There's some forget-me-nots. The arugula flowers will be spent soon. There's my lettuce getting bigger under that chair. That's actually one of my near future harvests. Look at the cute little garden sign my neighbor gave me. And look at how much the nectarine tree is blooming. We have only the apple and pear trees left to bud and bloom. Everybody else is on the job. Even those radishes underneath the tangelo tree, they're all giving their bolt push. So I'll be collecting seeds. I did move the blue bucket. I got it out of there. It does look better to me without it being there. Oh, you know, that bird bath right there is one of my indicators of water. When I fill it up, I know we get, birds playing in it. But when it runs out of water, it's time to check my yard. So that's one of my favorite places to sit. And that tree is still not my shady tree, but it's going to be an umbrella tree. I know it can. I love this nectarine tree. When this gets big, I'll be cutting branches of it and putting them in the house like bouquets. They are so beautiful. And it's a very light smell too. It's not overpowering. You can see the bees like it. And this is the Africanized honeybee, if I'm correct. And looking down my neighbor's pathway, you can see I still have cat pads there. You can't see it in any of these pictures, but the lemon citronella started to bloom its little purple flowers as well. I just feel so lucky and blessed, almost with every aspect of life. That's our barbecue patio. I really, really was looking forward to it this year because I wouldn't be seeing the trash next door. And he goes and cuts down the lemon tree. So I'm a little sad on that. More about that after this video if you want to hear it. I did go ahead and move the blue bucket back behind this bench, and I put a lot of sunflowers in it as well as my potatoes. I have other buckets over there with sunflowers to help hide the mess. But I also don't want to look at the mess. Sometimes I always worry about letting morning glories grow because they get pretty invasive. Once they kick off, you never get rid of them. Anyhow, that's my story and I'm sticking to it. So the pathway over to my neighbors, I do garden their space as well. And that's where I've had the large strawberry patch. All started from a 6-pack years ago. This is my other neighbor's plant. I just thought it was so pretty and bloom. I had to get a picture of it. Look, you see that? Guess who wants to come out? When I say lettuce, I mean I have a lot of lettuce. I'm surprised the bunnies in our park aren't over here and hassling me more. I've rarely had any problems with them. The fig tree did not put fruit off first this year. It's always put off a knob of them, then the leaves have come out, and then it's put off more. So I don't know what's going to happen with it this year. I love figs. I love to make fig cookies. And as always, I really, really want you to go out and play in the garden. Thank you so very much for being a part of Cindy's Artistic World today. Please give us a like, follow, or subscribe. Coming around the corner and seeing the lemon tree cut down and having to look at all the trash next door was very disappointing. The lemon tree and the orange tree next to it were hiding all of his trash on his patio in his backyard. And this isn't as bad as it gets. It has gotten worse at times. Last year I went over and cleaned up his yard with him, some, but mostly just I go over just so I don't have to look at it and just because I don't need him attracting rats and things more than he does. He's already got cats. That's one of them. She's the sweet one. They're all pretty, but they're all just running around and they're not supposed to be out. And he feeds about 6 of them, just dumping out a big bag of food for everybody. I get it. It's good, it's bad. But I don't want to have to look at this. So unfortunately, for the first time in 8 years, I filed a complaint against my neighbor, along with 8 other complaints that went in against my neighbor for trash and noise. For the first time, it has been a very quiet month. And he has since cleaned up some of the trash over there. But mostly he just kind of moved it around. And I'm hoping for better results as the next month goes on.